There are a number of properties of logs that are important to remember for the math portion of the ACT test. I'll show you what you need to know in the classroom. Okay, let's talk about log properties. The first one is log of x times y. When you have log of a product, you can write it as a sum, and it's going to be written as log x plus log y. The second one is log of a quotient. Log of x divided by y. And you guessed it, it's going to be log x minus log y. Okay, the third property. If you have log x raised to a power of y, what you can do is you can take that power of y and you can actually bring it out front of that log. So it looks like y times the log of x. And please understand, when we're talking about logs, it can be any base you want. If it's not written with any of the logs like I have, it's base 10. If you have something has natural log, that's ln. That means base e. So all these apply, just different bases, what you could probably come across. Fourth, if you had log base x of y, you can change it to any base you want. So here's how change base works. You can write that as log of y over log of x. If you want to use a natural log, an e base, it would look like this. Natural log of y over natural log x. And you can change it to any base you want. So that's why they call that change of base. And the fifth one, you need to be able to take a logarithmic expression and write it exponentially. So here's what I mean. Say you have log base a of c. Let's say that's equal to some number b. That's what I call logarithmic format. You can write it in exponential format. Here's how it goes. You take the base, which is a. You raise it to what's across from the equal sign, the b. A raised to the b, and it equals whatever is over here by the log c. So a to the b is equal to c. So if you ever had an exponential situation, a raised to b equals c, you can write it into a logarithmic format. So these are some of the basic properties. Now let's look at some problems that you might encounter on the ACT. All right, the first one, they could give you an expression. They could say log x equals a, log of y is equal to b. And then they can develop some different kind of questions, like, say, the first one, I'll call this question part A, and all these go with given that information. They could say, find log of xy. Well, all you'd have to do is remember one of the properties. You can write that log of a product as log of two sums. You can write it as equals log x plus log y. You're given that log x is a, so you can rewrite that as a, and log y you're given is b. So your answer would be a plus b. Let's take a look at another example. They could do it as a quotient. They could ask you to find the log of x divided by y. Well, you just have to write it using the properties as log x minus log y. Log x is a, log y is b, so your answer is a minus b. Let's take a look at another scenario, what they could do. They could ask you to find log of x squared. Well, using your properties, you can write that as 2 log x. because you can bring that 2 out front. That's using one of the properties. So you know log x is a, so you're going to get 2a. Just some simple manipulations of using these properties. All right, let's kick it up one more. Say you're asked to find log of xy quantity cubed. Well, first thing you want to do is you want to bring that 3 out front using that idea of that power coming out front. So you get 3 log of xy. And then you have to remember you can write log of xy as log x plus log of y. Now you're going to put parentheses around because this means 3 times. So I'm going to bring that 3 straight down. Log x is a, log y is b. So you're going to get 3 times the quantity, a plus b. They might write like that on the ACT. They might distribute the 3. So you get 3a plus 3b. Now those are some straightforward examples. Let's take a look at a couple others that they might twist it a little bit. Say they give you log base x of 144. Now this problem is totally separate from the others we just did. So this is a totally separate problem. And they tell you this is equal to 2. And they're asked to find what x is equal to. And I'm going to give you some multiple choices. I'm going to make it a multiple choice. I'm going to give you some choices to pick from. So say A, I'm going to give you a choice of 2, B, 6, C, 12, D, 36, and E, 72. Well, when you look at that expression, you say, I don't know how to solve that. Well, because if it's in logarithmic format, sometimes it just can't be solved in that format. So you need to be able to interchange it and write it in terms of exponentials. That was one of the properties I was showing you. So you're going to take this base, which is x, and raise it to the power over here, which is 2. So you're going to write x squared equals whatever is over here, 144. Now, if you remember how to solve when you get x squared equals 144, what you're going to do is you're going to take the square root of both sides and get x equals. Now, normally in math class, we would write a plus or minus in front of that, and you would have plus or minus 12. But what the choice is given, we're just given positive numbers, and we're given positive 12, and that would be our correct choice. Okay, so now we're done with this one. Let's take a look at maybe one more just to show you change of base. Say if I gave you, you had to figure out what is log base 2 of 8. There's 2 ways to do it. I'm going to show you by hand, and then I'm going to show you how quick you can use your calculator. Because there's not just a button to plug it in. You don't have to know how to use change of base to use your calculator if you want to do it that way. But here's one I'm going to show you. We can write 8 as 2 cubed. So we're going to write this as log base 2 of 2 cubed, because 2 cubed is 8. I'm just replacing 2 cubed for 8. Now you got that power of 3. We're going to bring that out front now. So you're going to get 3 times log base 2 of 2. Now, if you remember change of base, let me show you how actually, when you have the same base as this number right here, log base 2 of 2, that's equal to 1, but let me show you why. Let's leave that 3 out front. To write this expression, you can write it as log of 2 over log 2. That's change of base. We just change it to a base of 10. Got log 2 over log 2. That's the same number over itself. So that has to be 1. Now you got 3 times 1, so you got an answer of 3. That's using properties of logs. Now if you know how to use your calculator wisely, you can do this really quick. Let me show you how to do it another way. So if you start with this log base 2 of 8, and you know how to change base, you can simply write it as log 8 over log 2. And just use your calculator. Hit log key, put 8 in there, log 2, and then hit divide. You're in good shape, and it'll give you the answer. Quick way if you know how to use your calculator.